Okay, so it came to me that I ought to do a little introduction that I can tack onto those first videos right at the beginning, just to let you know who I am, why am I doing these videos. Because there's a lot of people out there that get paid or get gifts to promote machines, and that's not me. I just got into this hobby 12 months ago. Started off with this little beastie here, my little Sunlu S8 Pro, just because I wanted to start off and I didn't know a damn thing about 3D printing, and this thing was a good starter. I mean, it just needed 6 bolts to put it together. Came in a box, and the gantry was folded down, put the gantry up, slid 3 bolts up on either side, all the wires were already connected, switch it on, and you're ready to go and do your first test print. This thing is still beavering away today, just as good as ever. You see, the only changes I made to it, I put on a glass bed instead of the original magnetic peel-off mat, and that's worked out very good. And I changed the Bowden tube that came with it. It's a Creality Bowden tube, a lot slicker. I found that the filament would pass through that a lot easier. It certainly made changing filaments a lot easier too. So those are the only things I've had to do on that, and it's worked solidly ever since. And then I got my first Elegoo. I got myself a Neptune 3 Max because I wanted to do bigger stuff. And of course, this is a 310 by 310 by 400, I think it is, bed size, whereas the Elegoo was 420 by 420 by 500. So nice big size difference. That allowed me to make helmets that I could actually wear, and taller models and pieces and some spaceships that I was working on, which I'll show you later. And again, big, good, solid machine. Now, I bought the 3 Max at the time, even though the 4 Max was out, because looking on the groups, 4 Max was new, and it definitely seemed to have some teething problems. Firmware updates were coming out, people were complaining about certain things not working right, so this has been out for over a year, and it was a tried and tested machine, so I went with the 3 to start with. Got into the 4 eventually because everything seemed to be ironed out, and now they seem to be solid, great machines if you pick up the new ones from Elegoo. Got a lot more features, certainly worth looking at. And then finally got into the electronics for reasons I'll go into later. So, who am I? Originally born in Wales, in Britain. Grew up in a small mining town. Joined the army at 18 years old. Did 9 years in the British Army, wandering around the globe. When I finished my 9 years, I emigrated to the USA, came over here, sold cars initially. First job, got hired by a car dealership that was around the corner from where I was staying. Then I sold computers, because one of my hobbies is computers. What I did when I was at school, did my A-levels in computers, maths and biology. And from there I met a guy who asked me if I wanted to go into the petroleum industry. So I kind of slid into that, and then started working all over the world for a company called Devon Energy at the time. So I found myself doing West Africa, Egypt, China, best of all Brazil. Spent 4 years down there, that was excellent. Later on then I did work in Mexico, and now I'm back just working in the States, offshore in the Gulf of Mexico. So I tend to go away a lot on business, and then I've got a lot of time off in my hands. That's where the 3D printing comes in. It's a nice hobby, something for me to get into, and I've been enjoying it. So just to show you what I mean on the computer side, I'm going to quickly pan you around here. So when I'm not 3D printing, I'm retro computing. So there's a lot of my old Commodore machines that I have a lot of fun with. So anyway, I'm going to go and take you through now and show you what really got me into the 3D model inside. So bear with me while I switch this camera off and take you through to my man cave. So this is what got me into it. I started doing plastic model kits again, something I used to do as a kid. So I started off with a little Robbie robot from the film Forbidden Planet, and I enjoyed making that. That was fun. Moved on up, did a Catwoman, got some vinyl kits of Judge Dredd and Cassandra Anderson. Out Thunderbird 2 with the mole, and I got a couple of spaceships, it's the Liberator and Scorpio from Blake 7 up there. And while I was making them, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I could get some stuff that's not easily available and scale them the way I want it. You know, let's say I want some bigger stuff. I don't want them as small as those ones over there. I want to make them bigger. So I was looking at a 3D printer. My brother picked up a cheap one, Creality, and then I looked online and saw that Sunlu. So once I got hold of that, I ran up little old Huey here from Silent Running. That was my first decent big build, and got out the paintbrushes, and I was quite pleased with that. Moved on, made myself something I'd always wanted, a wearable Judge Dredd helmet. Now that was about as big as I could get on that Sunlu plate, and it bit of a tight fit. I ran off a Lawgiver because that was easy enough in different parts, assemble and paint. Then I started getting into the figures, so Wednesday Addams, because the wife and I enjoyed that Wednesday TV series, and that was going for free, so I had a go at that. And that's Lieutenant Ellis from the TV series UFO, although looks more like Christina Hendricks squeezed into that outfit rather than the actress originally involved. But one I was quite proud of here, Harley Quinn. That was some nice work on that one. Again, with the Sunlu. So I'm doing all this on that 310 by 310 bed. Decided I needed to step up a bit. I wanted to redo the Judge Dredd helmet. Wanted to try some bigger stuff. So I bought that Neptune 3 and chinned off 2 Space 1999 figures here. Commander Koenig and Helena Russell. Actually did him on the Neptune and her on the Sunlu, just to see what it was like working with 2 different machines side by side, which was actually quite nice that you could do 2 lots of parts and get them painted while you're working on the rest. And then there was a sci-fi convention, a local one going, and I thought, you know, why not go as Judge Dredd? Let's have a go at it. So this 55-year-old fat guy managed to squeeze into his GIMP suit and started 3D printing, and so I made myself a larger helmet. I'll take this along and, you know, compare it with this one. You can see the size difference. So this was much better for my head. And made myself a new Lawgiver without the upper magazine, so it would fit into the boot holster that I made. Again, 3D printed on these and sprayed gold. Dredd's badge and his zipper, the steel chain.
These are all plastic 3D printed belt pouches and 3D printed belt buckle as well. So did quite well on that. Won the Judges' Choice Award, which was very nice. Seems quite apt going as Judge Dredd and winning the Judges' Choice Award, but yeah, not bad for a first attempt. Glad it paid off. I really wasn't expecting that. Moving on, got myself a little Emperor Dalek, kind of cross between the old TV comics scripts and a modern take. It came out quite well, and then decided to make a friend for Wednesday. So there's Enid Sinclair, and that one I think came out very well indeed, especially with the painting. Nice easy one here. This was Princess Leia, and I've got Chewbacca and Han Solo in the series as well, which I haven't finished yet. And then this big one here is the singer, for those of you who don't know, Kate Bush, from her Babushka video. Most of us red hot males who were around in the late 70s, early 80s know that video all too well. We've watched it enough times. And then finally AC/DC Bell. And then somewhere in between, once I got that Elegoo and could do a big print, I decided to go back to the spaceships. So here was another one I did on the Elegoo, and you can see a nice little Enterprise there. Little isn't probably the word. The saucer section was about the maximum at 200% scale that I could get on that bed. So that really was huge in 2 parts. Took quite a bit of printing, but I think that worked out quite well. And then by the same guy, he did a USS Defiant as well. So I think between that and the Enterprise, they look pretty good. And of course, once I've got the Neptune working fine, you start thinking, what else can I print? And as you probably guessed from these pictures with the autographs all over the walls and some of the other stuff I printed, I'm a bit of a Doctor Who fan. And I just thought, what I really want is a full-size Dalek. Yes, so So wanting a full-size Dalek, you've then got to decide, well, hell, how big a machine do I need for that? So I pulled up some original plans of the very first Daleks and realized I need something close to 1,000 millimeters square for the base. And I just missed out on the Neptune Orange Giga Kickstarter, because I'm quite lucky with my Elegoo machines, and so I think it was like $1,200 or something, and they were going to work on this amazing 800 by 800 by 800 machine. But of course, it's a lot of money to go and throw in there, not knowing if you'll see it, even if it is a well-known, reputable company. So at the time I decided I was going to make this Dalek, I missed that Kickstarter, and I was sitting around at work, and I thought, oh look, see what else other companies have got within, that sort of scale. And I stumbled across Tronicsy and their 1000 series, and decided to take a plunge, which is why I've got that. So the plan at some point is a full-size Dalek. Starting off a little smaller at the moment, doing my K9, and also I'd like to go back and revisit that Huey drone from Silent Running and make a 1-to-1 scale version of that. I've also got 1-to-1 scale plans of Marvin from the BBC Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, which I also like to churn out, various other things that I've been looking at. it could turn into a very expensive hobby as a result, just on filament alone. Anyway, that's the reason for it. So that's why I went through and started this stuff off and got to where I am now. Hope you enjoyed that explanation. So like I said, not paid, not receiving anything. I'm reviewing this stuff and going through it just like a typical user would. Spent a lot of money on this. I expect the stuff to work, and I've been lucky, you know, so far. A couple of bugs, a couple of things to sort out, but everything's been pretty solid. Now what I will say is, when you do buy a machine, you know, think about it. These are very, very complicated items. They're not your Canon or HP printer that you've been using, your inkjets. There's a lot of stuff goes into these, and the prices come down a lot because these were complex designs. These machines used to cost a lot more, and they've only just sort of come into the really the household user market price range. And when you have a problem with them, realize that you're going to get some that are DOA. You're going to order them, they're going to show up in a box. They've been battered by the company that delivered them. Wires might have come loose, trucks might have come loose, and they're just not going to work right. So don't go, oh, this is a pile of junk, and go on a rant. You might just have to do some troubleshooting. These companies will normally work with you very well if you explain you have a problem. The key word there is explain. So if you do have an issue, just don't go on a rant. You need to tell them exactly what the problem is. What have you tried? Give them photographs, give them video if you can. Whatever information you can pass on to them in your email allows them to understand what it is that you might need to try to fix it, or do they need to send you certain parts so that you can repair it yourself, or do they need to tell you stick it back in a box and mail it and get a replacement. So just bear that in mind. I know it's frustrating when stuff breaks, but you know, take your time, document the problem, let them know exactly what it is, work with them for as long as you can, just rectify the issue, and if you can't, ask for a replacement, and usually you'll get one. Also remember that the machine is only half the equation. You've got to get used to the machine. You know, they've all got their quirks, but you've also got to get used to the slice of software, and that's very complicated. To me, the machine's easy. Once you get it up and working and things are sticking to the bed, you're done. But the software, millions of options there. I mean, what do half of them do? I don't know. You know, there's key numbers that I mess with. And the best thing you can do, find yourself a Facebook group specifically for the machine you use, and get in with those people, and then when you have problems, ask them, because they've probably already gone through that issue themselves, and they'll be able to help you out. They can tell you, are you using the wrong supports? Are you using the wrong infill? Are your temperatures off? And you get a lot of help that way. I've been doing this now 12 months, and everything I learned from the people in the groups. They've been awesome, they've been fantastic, and they've educated me, and now I'm at a point where I think I can help other people by explaining what I've had to fix myself. So best of luck with this. I'll let you enjoy the rest of my videos. All the best.